Massive win for the Lions, Brant, over a divisional rival Vikings. A down and an up and a down and an up kind of a game, but they get it done on a huge stage and take down the undefeated rival, and without Aiden Hutchinson. And I want to get into that here in a second because they got the win, but I want to know your thoughts on the defense. They did give up their most points, I believe, of the season here, and I want to know your long-term outlook on this defense now without Aiden Hutchinson there. I know we talked about that last week, but it's the question in everybody's mind right now. But I want to start right here with the Lions in general, man. Is this the best team in the NFC, and is it clear to you? Is there anybody else right now, Brant, that you feel like deserves the share of that fake crown that doesn't actually exist right now after this week? Because I'm feeling pretty confident when I say the Lions are the best team in the NFC, but I want to know your thoughts on that.
I'm with you. I think they're the best team in the NFC right now. Obviously, a lot of football left to be played. We got to see how some more injuries shake out, stuff like that. But really, you watch the Lions do it, like you said, Dave, without Aiden Hutchinson. And really, David Montgomery saw a lot of the bench after his fumble, and it was really the Jahmyr Gibbs show. And that gave me probably the most vote of confidence is like, hey, man, if Gibbs is going to ball out like this, let's go. That was really exciting to see. And obviously we talk about, the JMO suspension now maybe looming large, potential 2 games coming down the pike for him. So this team is going to have to just keep figuring out a way. The one thing that I liked about the defense, Dave, was they made enough plays. I know that sounds obvious because they won the football game, but anytime you have that dude, and when I'm talking about that dude, I mean Brian Branch, he's just an absolute menace out there. I mean, I texted you and Pat after watching half of the game, and I'm like, man, this guy's Defensive Player of the Year right behind TJ Watt. Like, I think they're 1 and 2 right now for that award. So let's give him all the love in the world. And even, Dave, I don't know what your take is right now on quarterbacks and their protections. I mean, 2 weeks ago, I watched Aaron Rodgers go down, get sacked by A.J. Epinesa of the Bills, and they called a roughing the passer on it. And it was a crazy one. But anyway, Sam Darnold slides down. Brian Branch goes to avoid him, avoiding the hit. And it was just a little play like that that makes all the difference in the ball game. And the defense, I can't say enough just how many plays they just contain that offense. I still give up 29 points. But, they still got after Sam Darnold. They ended up with 4 sacks, just a complete team effort. And I think that's why Dan Campbell, you saw him after the game, he was so pumped because he knows they weren't at full strength and they still went out there and did their thing. Impressive.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I think that first of all, before I start going down and picking this thing apart, that is just, I cannot underscore enough how huge of a win that is for this Lions team. And I don't know how you felt, Brant, at the end of that game when it was like, is this a 10-second runoff? Like, what's happening here? Oh, the Vikings get another play with a second to go. And
Aaron Rodgers is all I could think. Aaron Rodgers. That's all I could think.
Absolutely. And all I can think is, and I feel like I know we buried this last year. I do know. But in my head, I'm just thinking SOL. Like, is this like some crazy ending of this game? And in my head, all I could think is Sam Darnold chucks up a pass that's kind of going nowhere, and Terrion Arnold gets some ticky-tacky pass interference call, and they go down and kick it to win. That didn't happen. They get a guy that I've never even heard of before. I believe at linebacker come in, sack Sam Darnold, and that's a game set match right there. The Lions just get it done, man. Their resilience, their resolve is unmatched. I think that they are the toughest team in the NFL. Maybe you could argue from a talent standpoint, like looking at the Chiefs. And I understand that, obviously, with the dynasty they're building over there with Patrick Mahomes. But the Lions they're built differently, man. Like, you lose your stud D-end and you find a way to get it done. But with that being said, there was a lot of blitzing, and when you're not putting pressure on the quarterback with Aiden Hutchinson, Aaron Glenn's got to get more creative. He's got to send pressure a different way at the quarterback. And yes, it got it done on the road in Minnesota. But when we both are kind of confidently saying, like, the The Lions are they're the best team in the NFC, and I don't think there's any question about that. And so when you're the best team in the NFC, and I don't see that changing a lot from barring some significant injury to like Jared Goff, or something crazy like that. I don't see that really changing. Like I feel pretty confident about this team, but with that being said, that means that your goal this season is to go win a Super Bowl, play in a
Yeah.
Super Bowl, win a Super Bowl. And so my question is this sustainable with an Aiden Hutchinson-less defense? And let's just say I think that they're going to go out and get somebody. I do. I don't know how big of a splash it's going to be, or if it's just a kind of a role player, and they're going to continue to Josh Pascal had a good game. Like, how are they using these guys? I'm not sure. But Brant, do you think that this is do or die right now, like before the trade deadline, that the Lions will look back and regret not making a move if they kind of sit on their hands like they did last year at the deadline? And we all know what happened last year. They made it to the NFC Championship game, arguably should have made it to the Super Bowl. They played, an incredible first half. We know what happened after that. But what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, Dave, I think you have to do something. And I think we talked about it last week is you cannot sit pat and just let this season go by. Like this is the Super Bowl window. These are short windows. You got to go after it. And I think they will. One of the things, Dave, is the pressure was okay. I mean, like you said, they were blitzing differently. They were really harassing Darnold, and it made all the difference in the world. Can that continue? I'm not sure, Dave. I don't. Neither of us are sold on that right now. And how consistent can Goff be? Because I would love to say that Detroit right now is the best team in the NFL. Although that guy in Kansas City, basically the Chiefs have the ultimate equalizer. Anywhere they go, they have Patrick Mahomes. Can Goff continue to be 22 for 25, pump out 250 yards and a couple tutties and no picks? I don't think you're always going to get that from him, Dave, and I think you know that. So this defense is going to have to improve some. And how do you improve it, Dave? Right now, you go out and get somebody. You go out and get even if it's a middle of the road, like you said, a type dude, but it doesn't have to be a Max Crosby, but it's got to be somebody because this team needs depth. And we're only halfway through the season, Dave. This is a marathon, not a sprint to the finish right now. This is not the beginning of the playoffs yet. So we have half a season left to get through. And this team, through attrition, man, we need to be bulking up. And so I think we need to go get at least one person.
That's fair. I mean, you mentioned Brian Branch earlier. I just wanted to state my point on him as well. What an absolute steal for that guy to fall to the second round. And a lot of people said it when they drafted him and got him where they did. I can't say enough good things about him. He is just the definition of a football player. He is just in the right place, the right time, whether he's making a sweet pick in a critical moment like we saw on Sunday, or whether it's a pass breakup or the right tackle. Like that guy, I don't think he wins Defensive Player of the Year because I think he's going to need a lot of interceptions for that to happen. But should he be in the conversation? Absolutely. And Brant, on the other side of the football, I'm going to just kind of quietly say, yeah, we may not get this Goff all year, but this is MVP caliber football from Jared Goff. He's playing better than Patrick Mahomes right now, okay? Now, I understand it's not the playoffs. I understand it's not a Super Bowl. But Jared Goff is playing second to nobody right now. And I think his confidence is at an all-time high. I mean, the year started off kind of slow for him, but man, once he gets in his groove, he gets in his groove. And what we haven't seen is a ton of we've seen the two-headed monster obviously in Gibbs and Monty, and we know who Amon-Ra St. Brown is. Disappointing about J-Mo. Like we don't need to go there this episode, but yeah, this is running thin. This kind of stuff that's costing your team. But like Sam Laporta, we haven't seen him use outside of the previous game, a little trickery. They haven't gotten him involved a ton, and Zettler wasn't healthy on the O-line, but they just make it happen. And so I guess my last question is, because we don't need to talk a ton about the Titans. Not that I don't want to overlook them, and I know the spread is big, but I want to know from you, Brant, right now in the NFC, who do you feel like is the biggest threat to the Lions? Did they just play them? Is it the Vikings or is it somebody else?
No, Dave, I don't think it's the Vikings. Actually, oddly enough, I think there's two teams that really are going to be there in the end, and I think it's actually going to be the Philadelphia Eagles. I think they have enough right now. Defensively, they're coming on pretty good. Saquon seems to be a really good fit there. Jalen's going to do his thing. I do like the Eagles to challenge the Lions. Dave, call me crazy. Are the Commanders for real? I almost think that this team right here is going to be a real challenger. I mean, Jaden Daniels looks like the real deal. So if that's going to be the case, I think they're probably number two. And I'll give you a shout out to the Packers real quick. Big win against the Texans at home this weekend. I thought there were some clock management issues from that team as it came down the stretch, but I like where they're at right now. Obviously, after the Titans, they head over to Lambeau Field, and that'll be a huge, huge game. So looking forward to seeing those three teams challenge the Lions for sure. I think that's my top four right now in the NFC.
Yeah, I just want to give some flowers to the Vikings though, because I have consistently been like, just wait, wait till the foot drops here. With this is still Sam Darnold. The Vikings are a very good team. Kevin O'Connell is a heck of a coach, and what Brian Flores does with the defense is second to none. Now that is a huge credit to Ben Johnson in this offense, Jared Goff in this offense, but we've got a lot of football ahead. The Lions absolutely need to stay healthy, but these next couple of weeks are going to be very interesting to see what moves they make or don't make.
Dave, the one thing I want to close with you on is they've played one division game, which is like crazy for this time of the season. I mean, we're in like week 7 or week 8, and the NFC North really hasn't played each other at all. So this division is going to get nuts here in the next 8-9 weeks. So we're going to really feel out who the pretenders and the contenders are in this NFC North, Dave. And I just think that the Packers are right there. I think the Packers are better than the Vikings, but that'll be all bared out in the next couple weeks.